Hello everybody. I hope your weekend is starting off okay. We won't compare our weekend to the week of what's going off in the Middle East. I didn't have this set right when I sat down. Still not right. Okay. I ran out of razor blades 3 or 4 days ago, and I had to wait till I went to the market today to get some. So in the morning I'll shave. When I was camping, it was off and on. I didn't know which way I wanted to be. I think I'm going to be where I'm at currently until the end of October. And then we're going to see what I'm going to do after that. I'm trying to get my son completely settled with his disability. He's sitting at 90%. He's had all the meetings. They just had a couple of them last month. So there's nothing more for them to do other than to say yes and how much he's going to get. So we're waiting. We pray that it gets settled soon, because he can't really get settled until he has income, and he hasn't been able to work. So when he came to stay with me, I was already paying for my campsite, so he could do that for a while. But now that he's in a house, even though it's crowded, he doesn't want to go back camping. I was ready to go Monday back to camping, but I need to stay here to help keep him motivated and doing things. I might have to stay with him for a little while. He's got a friend in Peru that may be coming back with him when he comes back. He's going to go there too as soon as he gets some money. When he comes back, he might bring a friend. So if that's the case, then we can let them work out the issues. I am drinking hot green tea. The sky looks fairly clear now, but it was overcast earlier today, so I didn't get to see the eclipse. I know what it looks like. I've seen pictures and I've seen it live before. I used to live out west, and that's kind of where it goes this time. So if you were out west, you could have seen the full ring of fire. Here we got a sliver. It didn't quite make it. The wonders in the sky, signs and wonders, more things pointing to what's coming. Now, I played my little game and got some of the comments, and I left them up for a while. I started taking them down because after a while they irritate me. That people don't watch the video, they just troll looking for titles and then come in and drop a bomb because they hate Christ, they hate Christians, and they just can't wait to just pick on them. Some, unfortunately, are from factions of Christianity that they should know better. It's going to be an awful lot of people that are going to be disappointed when Jesus tells them, "Get away from me, I don't know you." Of course, pray for them and then on their way. Same instruction given to the apostles when they were sent out, the disciples and apostles sent out to spread the gospel. Go into a house. If they receive you, stay, have a meal with them, talk to them, leave a blessing on them when they leave. Otherwise, just turn and walk away. I at least pray for them, because I'm not going to kick them into the street without at least trying. All right. For this video, who are the players right now in the news because of their dastardly deeds is Hamas. Now, all the proxies that work for Iran are terrorist organizations. That's what they do. They create terror. I talked about that in a previous video. They're not going to change. And they've got basically unlimited funds. Because Iran has oil and money that our government decides to give to them. Elections do count, people, but it wasn't supposed to be. So get over it and move on. If you want to pray for the United States, pray that we stay safe until we get out of here. But you can't pray that we go back where we were. It's on Satan's timeline. And the seals and the trumpets are pretty much Satan's work. That's not the wrath of God. That's the bowls. And there will be a lot of Christians born during the tribulation, so it will succeed in doing some of what it's supposed to do. It will wake people up, and the ones that are so embedded in this world, it will make them matter. The divide will get greater. And they're already creating a divide anyway. They're getting rid of the middle class in the United States. There's going to be rich, super rich, and I don't know where they break down on where the border is, but there will be super rich and poor. Poor will be all the servants that they want, and they don't want too many servants. They don't want a whole bunch of people that have time to think. That's the middle class. They kind of have time to think. They're not fully so rich they don't have to work anymore, and they're not working so hard, 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. That's the poor. The middle class kind of in that in between have time to think, and they can see what's going on. So they're going to get rid of all the middle class. I'm not middle class anymore. I'm quite happy where I'm at, but I won't be in the rich. I will be in the poor category. But I'm fine, because I've got my retirement. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So don't worry about me. I'm fine. Anyhow, let's start with the first proxy. And we're going to talk a little bit about Iran at the end. I'm not doing a whole lot of Bible references here because this is just giving us earthly points of view. Apply it to the world as you see it, and it will help explain why we're in the state we're in. Okay, Hamas. It's an acronym, and it's got an Arabic phrase that they've got in here that I don't even think I can pronounce. It's Hiraka al, and then I'm going to stop trying to butcher the word. It means Islamic resistance movement. This acronym, HMS, from their version of the wording, was used for a while, but then it was later used in a Hamas covenant by the Arabic word, where they put the A in it this time, in the 2 A's. Hamas, which basically means zeal, strength, or bravery. That's laughable, because what they're doing is completely cowardly. I wouldn't want these people on anybody's military. They're cowards. They hide behind human shields in Gaza. You can't shoot me. I've got this family of 4 standing in front of me with these kids. And you see how I feel about kids, so go ahead, shoot me, try. I'll put each one of them up, hold them up, and let you shoot them one at a time. The evil, evil, evil people. Fortunately, the whole world's not like that, but it's heading in that direction. Okay, so that's the name. What we're going to have to look at next is what it really is. It's an Islamic militant movement, and one of the Palestinians' territories, the 2 major political parties. It governs more than 2 million Palestinians. I guess I'm going to have to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm looking at. I put it in bold print on my computer. I'm reading off my computer. I sat down and looked all this stuff up because I want to make sure I got it right. I kind of had the ideas of all this stuff, but I want to make sure I'm giving you material. Some of it you have to think about when the writing comes up. Wikipedia is really bad for this. I said, what's the difference between the two factions? And it says, oh, they love each other, the Sunni and the Shia. No, they don't. They've been fighting for years, thousands of years, longer than they've been fighting with the Jews. But anyhow, if you know history, you know when they're lying. The rest of the stuff, I'm trusting that they got right because it seems benign. It doesn't harm them. So, Hezbollah basically means party of Allah. Allah is their name for God. It's not the same God that we worship. He's totally different. He's very human. And he gets angry all the time. And he'll punish people. And if he can't get to it, then somebody on earth has to punish him. It's just sick. So it's the Lebanese Shia Islamic political party. Why would they even call it a political party? They come in. This is the thing that if the Jews really knew their Bible, it's too bad they don't. You know, I don't want to get into that. That'd take me off on a rabbit hole. But the problem is they should never have traded land for peace. God gave them the land and they're giving it away. And he didn't tell them to give it away. He told them to hold on to it. Keep the land. But when they give it away, people, the Palestinians, moved right in and set up camp and were doing fine. And then Iran comes in with one of their proxies, Hamas, and it takes over and basically tells the government, we will kill you. We will kill anybody that goes against us. And they start doing that. They prove themselves a few times. And then people I just want to live here. Just leave me alone. I want to live here. And then they build their tunnel system underneath the cities so they can hide there. And if somebody does shoot a missile at them, it'll take down the top, but maybe kill people in the building that don't get out. But they're hidden in their bunkers. So the last time Israel went in there, they blew up a bunch of their tunnels and bunkers. But now they basically have vowed they won't stop until they've killed every last one. And hopefully they're going to keep the borders closed and they're going to put them into a small little area and then they can go door to door better. You don't want to do door to door fighting. It is very difficult. Now, I've never had to do that, but I've done training for it. I was on a ship. We're in tight quarters on a ship, and we had to be able to defend it. I didn't see Vietnam land fighting. There's plenty of people that did, and they've got horrific stories. I was on a ship. We shot shells at the shore bases. But I didn't have to go on land. But the tactics for close quarter drills like that, they're very tough. The person in front is liable to get killed. Take the point. Because you've got to look. Now, Hollywood makes it look easy. But it's not. And you got to have the right kind of people. What was it, Bruce Willis and The Fifth Element, when those Mangalores took over the hotel, floating hotel, and he finally gets his way down to the control room. He's asking the guy who's all nervous trying to run things, how many people are in there? I don't know. He was the head of security and he acted like he was a cook. So Bruce Willis goes, 5 on the left, 6 on the right, whatever it was. And they said, send somebody in to negotiate. Can I do that? He walks in, boom, right in the forehead. Yeah, I know, it's Hollywood. Some things, it's a fun movie, but there is violence in it. But they're shooting the ugly-looking monsters, not the aliens, not the human people. The aliens were shooting the human people. Got to create drama. Anyhow, Most people can't do that. I certainly can't. I don't visualize. I go 1, 2, each one. And hopefully I didn't get shot in the head sticking my head around. Staying with our topic, don't get off on rabbit holes. This is going to take a while if I get off on rabbit holes. Okay, let's move over to Hezbollah. We've got Hamas, Hezbollah. They've been in charge, I guess, since 1992. I didn't notice where Hamas moved in, but Hezbollah's been there. They're not as organized as Hamas because they've actually got an economy in Gaza. Lebanon is so deprived of everything; they don't even have a government. They're so deprived. There's nothing there to be in charge of, and they're the one that had that warehouse blow up. Killed a few people, knocked out windows for 5 square miles or something. It wasn't a nuke, but it was close to it. Okay. So with Hezbollah in charge there, they're operating as both a Shiite Muslim political party and as a militant group. So the people are Muslim. So they're kind of playing it both ways. They're saying they're a religious group and a military group. Hamas is just a terrorist group, and they don't try to pull any punches. They're just ruthless, as we've seen. So both of them, north and south, are on the border of Israel. Lebanon was there before. They should have taken more of it when they came back in, but they didn't. Hamas moved in after they were given the land. The U.S. presidents pushed them into this. And the same with the West Bank. So there's 3 sides. And then you add Syria on top. Syria's been in kind of a civil war for many years. There's U.S. troops and bases there. There's the militant group up there. It's the Iranian group that's in there. I didn't put it down. I forgot about it. You should know it, and if not, Republic Iranian Army, I don't remember now. In any case, they're there, and the Russians are there. And there's some Hamas there. They're surrounded. They've got buffer zones. So it's hard for them to come by land. Troops running in. There's fences around them. There were fences around Gaza was blown up in parts so they could come through. They cut holes in it, run their motorcycles through it, and then they put the flat back down so you can't see that it's broken. There's supposed to be cameras watching it too. They got slack. Or it was deliberate to allow them to do it. So there's buffer zones that are supposed to be no man's land. You're not supposed to come into that. We had Anderson Prison here in Georgia. It's a Civil War prison, and they've rebuilt it so you can see what it looked like. And the guys are just living in makeshift cardboard tents or something, or just drape a blanket over something. They were out in the open. They died from bad water because they didn't have latrines built. There was a stream that ran down through it. If you were at the bottom, you didn't want to touch that water. I don't remember how many died there, but quite a few, a few thousand died there at that prison. But they had a line, and you're not supposed to go past the line and the fence, or the outer wall. If you remember Hogan's Heroes, they had that. They weren't supposed to go across that wire. And if they did, everybody started pointing guns at them, and if they managed to get back, it was usually a dodge to divert their attention so somebody could do something else. But at Andersonville, they literally shot people for crossing that line. It was called the dead line. That's why there's a phrase, deadline. You have to get this done by the deadline or you're fried, whatever. So they've got this buffer area that is monitored pretty well, but Hezbollah is the one that started, and I think they got it from ISIS, started launching missiles as a distraction before they do anything on the ground. Get people doing this. And nighttime is a good time to come out, or early morning, so that it's still got the dark to cover you. But we've got plenty of night vision capabilities. We're seeing the drones fly in and over at night. We're seeing the video from the planes dropping bombs and firing missiles. They've got good night vision, so it's not a problem anymore. But you got to be there to see it. And if they shut things off and not paying attention, like on a holiday, like Saturday, like a week ago, they got caught. Okay, so that's Hezbollah. I'm only going to cover 3 because of the time, because it's already, I'm already up to 20 minutes. I don't want to be a politician, but I could talk for an hour and not say anything. The Houthis, which basically means the supporters of God, or Allah, it's an Islamic political and armed organization as well. They're down in Yemen. They moved in, I think, in the 90s. Yeah, in the 90s. And they're a Shia force. Shia is what Iran is. And basically their proxies are all Shias. They try to get the Sunnis involved, but the Sunnis are the peace-loving branch of Islam, not the terrorist groups, although they're not unhappy when the terrorist groups gain them something, but they don't get involved. So the Houthis are trying to govern properly Yemen, but they're a terrorist organization. They don't go out and fight, but they've made a lot of the military parts. They're making the parts for the drones and missiles and things like that. They manufacture them there, and then they ship them around to where they need to be, because they have access to the waterway there. So it's all an organized group, and they're being funded by Iran. Now, Iran used to be okay. Britain helped get them started. I got mosquitoes around. They're not going to come and land on me, but they're a distraction. We put the Shah of Iran in, and he became a dictator instead of a good ruler. It's, we don't understand the Middle East in the United States. They understand force. They had a field day under Jimmy Carter because he did not understand force. Reagan had to come in, who understands force, at least from his roles he played in Hollywood. He was also governor of California when it was still a good state. But it was a big political tool to have that state, one in electoral votes and just its proximity to access all the world from the West Coast. Okay, so I'm just going to jump down. I see I'm running out of time. Shah became the new king, and they basically they changed their name from Persia, which is used throughout the Bible. They don't use the word Iran. It didn't become Iran until 1935. And that was when they branched off into their, we're going to overthrow the world using terror mode. Now the Shah brought them power. He set up the base. Just like our world leaders now are setting up the base for the Antichrist, the Shah came in and set them up with a place of leadership. But he was overthrown, and the Ayatollahs took over, and they're radical. radical Islam. If you're not a member of Islam, then we should just kill you because you don't deserve to live. That's their general philosophy. That's why they were able to do the atrocities they did a week ago, because they consider non-Sunni or Shias predominantly, if you're not one of them, you don't deserve to live. And their Quran basically tells them that they can be killed. If they see something that you've got and they want it, they're allowed to take it. They don't have the thou shalt not steal. It's just the opposite. Now, you can't steal from your own, but if you see somebody else out there with whatever you want, it's okay to go steal it. The Quran and Muhammad are basically anti-Christianity. Opposites in so many ways. So, anyhow, it changed its name to Iran, or if you use it in their A-R-Y-A. I'm not even going to try to pronounce how these things sound because I'll only butcher them. So Iran means the land of the A-R-A-N-S. I don't know, Aryans? But they've been doing really well because Muslims and Jews, and were adopted, were given a promise that they would do well by God. And that's why they're doing well. They've been running the world with their oil for a long time. But absolute power corrupts, and they've been able to do that for too long now. Okay, now, one of the things that you've got to understand with all these countries, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Iran, we haven't talked about Iraq, but because they're kind of landlocked, Yemen, the people overall are good people, to a degree. They just need a place to live, and they want to go about their business. They don't want to go out and fight. Now, they indoctrinate people, and they use their propaganda to get people to volunteer. The people in general don't. I think that, I don't remember the numbers now. I should have brought it in. Iran's seen so many Christians born in the last few years in Iran, when if you're caught with a Bible, you can be executed. So it's a good breeding ground to help. When people are living in stress and poverty, you can get them to listen if you've got something that sounds good. And the gospel is good news, just like it says. So it's not the people that we're after. And that's why Israel is doing its best to not harm the people of Gaza. They said, move south, we're going to hit Gaza City. Well, guess what Hamas does? No, you can't go or we'll shoot you. They're not letting them leave. Now, you can't stop the whole population because there's 2 million there. There's maybe a few thousand Hamas. They could easily get outnumbered by the locals and killed if they really force the issue. So they're doing their best to, oh, it's all a lie. They're not going to do that. They're doing that as much as they can, but privately, I'm sure they're telling people, we'll kill you if we see you leave. But many are going. And then they're going to go back to bombing some more. They're going to do as much bombing as possible, destroying areas as much as possible, so that way they can move back in and have a smaller area to search. You don't want to search the whole country. That's not good. What is that behind me? Oh, it's a blue light. I'm out in the evening. It's either morning or evening for me. I prefer it. I don't have the sun being a problem, but it's getting to the point where it's going to start getting dark, and I didn't bring my light. It's in storage like all the other stuff that I keep wishing I had. All right, so the regime in Iran is governed by the Ayatollahs, which it just means supreme leader, basically. And it's a small council of them. It's not just one. There's a leader of that leadership. And they're finding out now that you can't keep fighting this way. Hamas is going to just rebuild. It may take a while, but they're going to rebuild. Same thing with Lebanon. They rebuilt. We fought Vietnam for how many years? Same thing with Korea. We weren't fighting the North Koreans. We weren't fighting the North Vietnamese. We were fighting China. Israel isn't fighting Hamas. They're fighting Iran. And Iran said, as soon as we get a nuke, we're going to blow you off the earth. We're going to kill every Jew on the face of the earth eventually. That's their plan. Germany tried that. Didn't work. Satan's learned a little bit. So now he's got more than one leader willing to do that. So until Israel is ready to go after Iran, and the longer they wait, the more capable Iran gets, and Iran is making more friends with Russia and Turkey. Sound familiar? Now this war that started, it could be, the Magog War. There has to be a war. Revelation 12, when it talks about the travail of the woman, travail typically means a war. And they start off gradual, and they get bigger. This is going to get big. And it's in the book of Revelation, squeezed in between the Revelation 12 sign and Satan getting thrown to the earth. So it's a pretty big event happening. So our rapture is still imminent. I did my little test. The rapture is tomorrow. Well, when you ask me, I'll keep saying the rapture is tomorrow. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow when the rapture is. We don't have enough information to give you a date. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to be ready all the time. That's why he gave us the parable of the 10 virgins. I brought my tea, though. And if you get a sore throat, a little lemon and honey. That'll take care of you. But we are getting into cold season, flu season, as they're telling us to take the flu vaccine. I've taken it and gotten the flu. I've not taken it and gotten the flu. I haven't had the flu in 10 years. I don't know if my COVID vaccine helped. But I've had all the required doses up to the point that they want to continue. It's another control issue for them, so they want to bring it back, but everybody's telling them we're not going to do it. They'd have to come up with something more deadly. Just keep doing what you're supposed to do. Stay close to God. It's like I said in my little comment down below, and during Halloween, my costume's going to be the armor of God. People say I don't celebrate Halloween. I don't either, but I needed something for the joke. Okay? And it's a good example. That's the devil's day. You better have your armor of God on for that day. You need it on every day. You can't do or go anywhere without running a risk of having an encounter with the devil. Okay, I'm over my time again. I'm trying to make these 30 minutes, and I just can't cover this stuff. I didn't even cover a lot of this detail. I jumped over a bunch because I was running out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. And I knew as soon as I closed it, I'd go dark. So I'm getting ready to say goodbye. Till we meet in the clouds, God bless.